Hi there, it's me. Do I start every one of these like saying, "Hi, it's me"? Um, I'm Sarah. Welcome to my Zoom room. And let's see. I have an agenda today. I don't know if I'll do it or not, but my I've set up a recurring event for Mondays, and I'll just try to give you a heads up, and then I'll be here on Mondays at 5. Same place, same bat time, same bat channel. Um, no bats except, in my belfry. But um, I I want to start with I have classes on my schedule, which I told you about, I'm pretty sure last week. And if you miss these, it doesn't help to tell you right now, but if you miss these live, you can always see them later. And it's funny because on my feed, I'm not I haven't figured out how to make it different, but on every, hi Diane, on every one of these, I'm probably wearing a black shirt, and the video clip for that week's Facebook Live is me like looking at something away. So I don't know how to make a pretty front page or whatever for each of these, but anyway, maybe you can't. It's all right. I'm used to seeing myself in real life now, so it's okay. Um, I listed some classes for May. They're on the website. I tried to see again, not very technologically savvy. I was a computer programmer for 15 years, but it was an obsolete mini mainframe. See, that's how good it is thing. And I don't know how to do all this techno whiz kids stuff, but so I tried to link my last newsletter. When I got ready to post my last newsletter, which was last week, I hit the thing that said post to Facebook and Instagram, and it did, but it didn't actually do anything, I think. It just made a picture. So sorry if you tried to get anywhere. So the point is you could go to my website now, sarahpeasley.com. I'm going to just shut this down right now because it's very distracting. And see the newsletters there. Excuse me, there's a newsletter archive, and also the classes that are currently on the schedule. So 3 for May. The first one is tomorrow, and I'd really like to get some more people in there. That class, I'll give you the quick rundown. Reading your knitting. So that is, I had wished this class had been available to me a long time ago, and I think that new knitters as well as experienced lifelong knitters could possibly um, benefit from this class. So it's like maybe you put a project in a bag. Oh, there's a thought. You put a project in a bag, like maybe all those bags over there. And just saying, hypothetical situation. Hi, Sharon. And let's say you haven't looked in one of those bags for a while, and you pull out your project, and you're like, I what needles were in here before, and what row am I on, and did I do the all the decreases I was supposed to do, and you know try to figure out what the hell was going on when you put that project in that bag and then added it to that pile. That yours might not be as big as my pile, yours might be bigger, not judging obviously because that's not the whole pile. There's more, but and when you're making your socks, either the gusset or the toe, um, did you just do a decrease row, or is this the decrease row? Hi, Barb, and say hi to Charlie. And um, what else? Just how do you count the rows? How do you make sure the pieces are all the same size? So that's what tomorrow's class is. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening Eastern time. It's $55. You can sign up on my website. There's zero homework, and it's a nice, easy, slow-paced class. And I beat the living no, I don't beat the living daylights out of you. I beat the it's slow paced so that you can learn the things, and then each thing builds on the thing prior. And so we just knit very slowly along in a swatch. So it's a nice, it'll either put you to sleep from 6:30 to 8:30, or it'll wind you down from your day, but it will teach you how to look at your knitting and figure things out. That's tomorrow, the 11th of May, Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday is my mistakes class, which, you know, don't sign up for the mistakes class if you just learned to knit, because you need to sort of know how to knit and purl to take the class, and it really helps you if it really helps you to learn the information if it's things that you've done, and we've all made all the mistakes and we continue to make them, but it's nice to know how to maybe prevent them and or how to fix them after you do them or when you find them, either right away or later on. So a lot of that, twisted stitches, holes of various kinds, having to tear out stitches in rows at a time, drop stitches. Did I mention that? No, I did not. Lots of dropped stitches. And that one's the same at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., $55. It's called Preventing and Fixing Mistakes, and you can sign up on my website, sarahpeasley.com. Thank you very much. And then the third one, and that's the 18th of this month, May, and then 18 plus 7 is 25. Yep, so the next Tuesday is the 25th. And that's double knitting, which is a technique where you have either a technique where you can knit in the round by knitting flat, which is crazy, or you can knit a double-sided fabric with multiple colors. We're going to do both. That's super cool. And then I have a whole bunch lined up for June, including some sweater design classes, and I think I haven't put it on the website yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to go top down thanks to a suggestion from Fran. I haven't taught a top down one yet, but top down is super duper fun because it's all the rage. All the cool kids are doing it. Top down's kind of nice. Top down sweaters are nice, kind of like top down socks because, no, toe up socks, because you can, like, if you don't know if you have enough yarn, you can knit till you run out of yarn. So toe up socks, the leg is as long as you have yarn, and top down sweaters, the sleeves and the body are as long as you have yarn. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I mean. So top down, and I believe, and there's going to be two of them, and I believe that the one will be a yoke pullover. I decided that today, and the other one, and I'm not 100% tied to top down for that one, actually, for this one, for the second one. The second one's going to be I'm going to make a summer top. I have one in my closet. I think it's from J. Jill. I was going to show it to you today, but I just washed it and it's wet. It's hanging to dry. So I'll show it to you next week or the week following when I get my June class act together, because I am a class act. But it's a big drop shoulder sweater. Yeah, we'll call it drop shoulder. No armhole, no shaped armholes. How about that? So drop shoulder. Oh my gosh, people are saying things and I didn't notice. Hi, Beth. Yeah. Hi, Benjamin. Let's see. Diane, double knitting. Yay. Hi, Erica. Erica, did you see Benjamin's here? Benjamin, did you see Erica's here? Okay, now that we've introduced everybody, we can mingle. Yeah, so a big blocky, I think it's from J. Jill. I don't know if I finished getting that out, but it's linen and viscose, the one I have, and so it's really drapey and it's boxy and oversized and has little sleeves. And you know what? This Elton sweater that I'm working on actually is the same shape. I knew I fell in love with this sweater for a reason, besides the fact that it's beautiful. So I will show you that. I want to, Stitches reunion, right? Speaking of stitches, good segue. So Saturday and Sunday, Thursday, Friday, I don't know. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday of this weekend and Saturday and Sunday of the following weekend. So 15, 16, nope. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday of this weekend and Saturday and Sunday of next weekend is Stitches at Home for May. And this is the one where we do, the teachers get to do a long class with lots of sessions. And I'm teaching from start to finish, which I told you about last week. Our sample that you're going to make, because my pronouns are messed up, is this little sweater. And we learn all the things. I told you all about them last week. We're going to learn, no homework again. Oh, is there homework? No, there's no homework because we're going to start at the beginning. And part of what we're going to learn is how to read your knitting, but it'd be better if you took that by itself first tomorrow night. the cast on, the right side versus the wrong side, different needle sizes for different parts of your sweater, blocking, seaming, side seams, sewing rows to rows, um, shoulder seams, sewing stitches to stitches, sewing a sleeve into an armhole, so sewing stitches to rows. We're going to pick up and work one sleeve from the top down. We're going to do one shoulder with a 3-needle bind off. We're going to do picked up stitches for button bands. We're going to figure out where to put buttonholes. We're going to do picked up collar and do one with a facing folded over and sewn down. I don't know. What else? All the things. Sewing on buttons, weaving in ends. You know, I'm going to make a whole freaking sweater in 2 weeks. It's one session, no homework. I'm 99% sure there's no homework. I forget. I have one session on Saturday. That's the first one where we start 2 of the pieces. You don't finish any of them, but you start 2 of the pieces. Well, you might finish them. I don't know. On Saturday, and then you have till the following Saturday to get like most of the pieces done. And then you have 2 sessions on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. Each of the sessions are 2 hours. So last week I kept telling you it was a 10-hour class, but it's an 8-hour class because 4 times 2 is 8 and not 10. Took me a while to figure that out. So it's an 8-hour class in 4 sessions. One of them is this Saturday, and the other 3 are the following weekend. And the Sunday, the grand finale class that's my 60th birthday. So you guys need to come and take the class just so you can be with me because I need to be distracted from my 60th birthday. Okay, I didn't say that. It's 40. It's 40. I'm going to turn 40. Still need to be distracted, but come knit with me. So all the things you need to know to finish a sweater, starting at the beginning, which is why it's called From Start to Finish. So clever. And then there's a bunch of other fun classes there too. I told you about a few of them last week. Yep. So I'll get my June classes up. I may or may not be teaching for stitches in June. I don't think I'm allowed to say yet. So I'll just pretend that I don't know. And yeah, classes. I want to talk, I would like very much, that's like the, you know, sign up for my classes spiel. But what I think I want to do today, I'm going to settle back with my knitting here. I wanted to give you a little, tell you a little story about how I came to be sitting here in front of the screen trying to get you to sign up for my classes. So I'll try not to tell you all the details because it goes on and on and on. But basically, it's like how I got to be a knitting teacher slash designer slash editor slash yarn shop employee slash knitter person thing who makes things. So here we go. Ready? So I don't remember learning how. It's a great story like this. I don't remember learning how to knit. So there's the beginning. But I always knit. My Barbie dolls have, they're right there. I should go get them, but I'm not going to. One of these days I'll actually have them within reach. But my Barbie dolls have clothes that I knit for them when I was little. They may not have heads, but they have clothes that I knit for them. And that's a whole nother story. And I knit like, my sister got a going off to college. I don't know, yeah, I made her some Argyle socks. I made her a sweater. I might have told you that story before. I'll tell it another time. I made my dad a cardigan. I embroidered him a tie with seagulls that he wore it to work, or at least he left the house with it on. I don't know if he always continued to wear it, but he was a nice guy. Melinda, maybe if you're good, I'll show you my Barbies today. Otherwise, I'm going to write it down to show you my Barbies another time. Barbies. Also, I need to find the other things I knit for them. They're in a scary basement closet, so that's not happening today. Excuse me. Well, Beth thought she was the only one who had headless Barbies. My sisters, who may or may not watch this, at one point, I don't know what happened, but I don't have heads for my, I think it's my sister's fault. My big sisters are mean bullies. No, they're not. Anyway, knitting. Yep, so I knit things for people. And when I was pregnant with my first child, the one who selfishly turned 30 this year, and the other one selfishly turned 25 last week. It's a big year for all of us. What happened? I I stopped. I was working at Motor Wheel, which is a wheel plant. It used to be a wheel plant here in Lansing, Michigan. It does not exist anymore. There's some, it's somewhere as something else with some people maybe left over that I used to work with. But like, so I said to Barb, say hi to Charlie. Charlie used to work at Motor Wheel with me. I knew Charlie before I knew Barb. This is the kind of story you're getting from me today. So you can just zone out right now or go make your supper or whatever. And then every once in a while I'll say, what was I talking about? So I was working at Motor Wheel. I was pregnant with my first child. And for a brief shining moment in time, there was a yarn shop down the road, 2 miles from my house. So I passed it on the way home. It's called, I think it was called Paragon Yarn Shop. And it was in the front room of a company called Paragon Products, which was a bartering company. So I was pregnant. I stopped at the store. I said, and I hadn't, oh boy, there's more to this story. I hadn't, no, yeah. So this was before I joined the guild. I didn't know about the guild. I didn't know there were guilds. I didn't know anybody else who knit. Not that I asked people if they knit, but I just never had knit with other people. Um, it was just a thing that I did once in a while. And so I stopped in because there was this yarn store and I said, I need to make the perfect baby blanket for my child. So the woman, her name's Nancy, not that Nancy, different yarn store, sold me some yarn and sold me a pattern and told me about the knitting guild in town. And I didn't even know what she was really talking about. And at the time, Teresa was the president. And no, I think Louise might have been. It doesn't matter who was the president, but it was in 1980. No, it wasn't. It was in 1991. And I made the blanket, I had the baby, and then I called the guild, not like pretty much like that. Long story, a tiny, tiny bit shorter, I joined the guild and my life changed knitting wise because there were other people and I learned about other yarn stores and taking classes and books and things that I didn't, different yarns and things that I didn't know that were out there. And it was super cool. Um, and so over the years, while my kids were being born and raised, all two of them, and while I was working full time at the wheel company, I was knitting my little eyeballs out, arms off, fingers off. I was knitting a lot. I got obsessed, and it became the thing that I did. I was the knitter. I was the person who was always knitting. I was knitting at my kids' sports events. I was the knitting mom. I was also the white-haired mom, but that's a different. Yeah, only white-haired mom in elementary school. Thank you very much. So anyway, knitter. And let's see what happened next. I learned about, Elizabeth Zimmerman and Meg Swanson, and one of my knitting friends here, I think the first knitting camp, Meg Swanson's knitting camp that used to be Elizabeth Zimmerman's knitting camp, I think the first one I went to was with Jane. Jane, if you watch this, you can let me know if that's true. My local friend Jane from the Knitting Guild. And yep, and I went with her, and that was the first, it's in Wisconsin, Marshfield, Wisconsin. It's been in a couple different buildings, businesses along the way, but it's not really camping. It's in a hotel conference center, so kind of a little bit posh. And they hand you food, and you get to sleep in a bed, and there's no s'mores that I've ever seen there in my days. But I've been going since that would have been, I have no idea. I've gone a lot, like I don't know, 10 years more. I don't know. I didn't prepare my speech today, but many, many years. And many times, sometimes, a few times, I'll room with somebody I know, and other times I'll room with somebody I don't know, just because it's what you do. We're roughing it. We're camping, so you have to sleep with people you don't know. And one of the years, I roomed with a woman named Beth Walker O'Brien, who lived in Chicago. She probably still lives in Chicago. I actually don't know. And she was a knitting teacher, and she taught locally in her local yarn shop, but she also taught nationally for Stitches. And TKGA, which is at the time was called the Knitting Guild of America, and now it's the Knitting Guild Association. I think it still exists. It does still exist. And we were so similar. We got to the room. We'd never met, We both walked in with our own pillows with purple pillowcases. We both have all sons. We both worked in the computer industry. We teach the same kinds of classes at the same level of detail with really detailed notes. She had nope, I had dried apricots and she had fresh apricots. It was really weird. And maybe needless to say, we got along really well. And the difference was that she taught at the national level, and I had never, I'd taken a lot of classes. By then, I'd gone to a million stitches and TKGA events, and I don't know what else. I've never been to a Vogue Live. I don't know if that was happening then, but um, yeah, so that was in June-ish, July-ish. And about a month after that knitting camp, remember we're at knitting camp, sleeping with people we don't know. About a month after that, she called me on the telephone, or maybe she emailed me, who knows what technology existed way back then. And she asked me, she had to back out of two Stitches events and a TKGA event, and she asked me if I would step in and teach for her. And I was like, no. National? No. Which, by the way, oh, I didn't tell you the part where I glossed right over. Y2K killed my computer job. So I ended up hanging out at the yarn store, and she asked me to teach there, she being Marlene at Yarn For You. So she got me started teaching locally. There you go. I forgot that whole part of my life. And yeah, and then I started teaching at other stores, and then I started teaching at my house, and I got a website, guess what, sarahpeasley.com. And then I went to knitting camp a million times. There we go, caught up. So I was a teacher, but I wasn't a national teacher. And so when she asked me to teach for her, I was like, yes, I don't want to do that. And she said, it's already on the schedule. You've got roommates lined up. You've got people in your classes. You're going to use my notes and my class samples, and you'll be fine because it's not even your class. You're just reading from the thing. And I'm like, okay, fine. So she sent me all her samples. And these were like Erin's sweater design from scratch and putting together Erin and Fair Isle sweaters. And I don't remember. But and it's stuff that I know. So I studied her classes, and then I went and I taught them. And the first one I taught was for Stitches Midwest. There was a woman who worked for Stitches named Tracy, and she was waiting for me in my first classroom, and she was fabulous. And everything with Stitches has been fabulous ever since then. And they've treated me like family, and they hired me back for my own classes ever since then. So that's how I became a national knitting teacher. It was weird. I said no. That's how I got most of my jobs. I would say, I don't know what you're talking about. The programming job I had at the wheel plant, I didn't know how to program. I said, I don't know what you're talking about because I had like a part-time job there, and just to fill in for somebody because I needed work. And while I was there, they said, do you want to be a programmer? I'm like, I don't even know what that means. So then I was a programmer. Sarah, I'm talking about me, Liz. This is my life story in 45 minutes or less. Yep, I'm looking at Diane's notes. Sorry. She says she remembers going to an event, but she doesn't remember where, but she thinks Meg was there. So Meg has taught at some events in the past. Yeah, so it could be. And this is not that Meg, this is Meg Swanson. I have like ditto names. Yes, I remember Marlene. She comes into Woven Art occasionally, and I've had the chance to thank her in person for having launched my career as a knitting teacher. The roommate was Beth Brown Rensel, Liz. No, it wasn't. Oh, I knew I was going to say that. Beth Walker O'Brien. One of those Beths. See, there's multiples of every name ever. Okay, so I'm teaching at Stitches, and I did one for TKGA. That was different. And they did not treat me like family and hire me back. So they didn't treat me badly. It just was not the same. So then I'm a national teacher, and a couple years into that, and meanwhile, I've been friends because of blogging, because there were blogs before there was Facebook, and there's still blogs, but they're different now because it's all advertisements and stuff, and guest bloggers. And this was just like our online journal kind of things, kind of like what I use Facebook for now. Do I? And I was blogging pretty regularly, and I'd met a bunch of people, and one of them was Gwen Bortner. I'd never met her in person. Well, that's not true. So I took classes from her. And I was taking classes from Edie Ekman, and suddenly I was teaching with them, and XRX used to publish books, XRX Publishing, XRX Books. And a couple years after I started teaching for XRX, XRX is the company that runs Stitches, by the way, in case you were confused. So a couple years after I started teaching for them, I got a call. I don't remember if it was Elaine or Karen, but I got a call and they said, we would like you to help us finish editing Gwen's Entrelac book. And I said, I don't know what that means, which is, that's how I get all my work. So they said, and I think this is a direct quote, it's what I keep telling everybody is a direct quote. They said, it's okay. We know how anal retentive you are. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay. Okay. So now I are a tech editor, and I have been since, I don't know, was that 2013? When did Gwen's book come out? If somebody happens to have it handy, you can tell me. But my name's in there, like, and then I was publishing for the, not publishing, I'm not a publisher. I was editing for the magazine, for Stitches magazine, Knitters magazine for a long time until they stopped publishing, because technology is stupid and is killing all the print media, but whatever. Yeah, so then I'm like, now I'm a tech editor, and that's how that happened. And all the time I've been teaching at Stitches, and all the time I've been teaching locally here in the greater Lansing area. At one point I was teaching in 7 locations a week. There was, it started with Yarn for You. Then there was my house. And I continued to do something called Knitter's Choice every Thursday at my house up until COVID. I think I did that for almost 20 years because I started teaching with Y2K right after Y2K. Which, by the way, if you mention Y2K I'd said this before, I know, to the nice little barista, or she's not a barista, she's the employee at Foods for Living. She's like, I sort of think I've heard of Y2K, but it's before I was born. And I was like, yep, lost track of what I was saying. So I'm editing, yep, all the things. I'm editing books, I'm editing for self-published designers, I'm editing for yarn companies, and the clients come and go, and that's fine. I'm still editing. That lasted through COVID, thank goodness. The teaching, got shut down for a while because travel went away. And I'll tell you, I was starting to get like, you feel kind of important when you're flying all over the country teaching things, and people know you, and come and take your classes again. It's been really good for my self-esteem to be a teacher. And the tech editing, people keep hiring me, so I must be okay at that too. And my goal with the editing is to always, the people who are writing these patterns, who hire tech editors, the ones I work for, they want the knitter to be successful and make the thing. Because if you aren't successful and you can't make the thing, you're not going to buy the pattern again, or the yarn, or the book. So my goal is to make you able to make the thing. So not only do I make the math work or make sure that the math works, but I'm also changing, enhancing, tweaking the language so that it makes more sense and is more clear. And if you've ever listened to me talk, you know that I edit myself constantly. So I'm always, so I've known how to knit since forever. Before I was a programmer, I worked at a typing service. I was a math major, not 100%, but part of my major is math. And what else? And I don't know, I think I missed one of them. But that's what I make my living doing. I knit, I teach knitting, I edit, so I'm checking math and language, and I'm typing in, class notes and all that, and then in 2014, I'm not very good with years, but I think it was the end of 2014 is when I got divorced. And that in December, so personal information, sorry, that holiday season, there was a holiday party at Nancy McCrae's house. And Nancy McCrae, I think this is the true story. Somebody can correct me, Meg. Different Meg. So Nancy McCrae, who owned Woven Art at the time where I shopped and I taught. Oh, I was going to tell you all the places I taught. That's okay. I'll do that later. I was teaching at Woven Art, and Jill Bigelow Satel was working there on Mondays, and she and her husband got some property up north and we're going to build a house. So she was leaving Woven Art at the end of the year. I think I'm making that date up, but it was, the holiday party. And at this point, hold on, I lost something there, but at this point, Meg owned Woven Art. Nancy had sold it to Meg. My timeline is like woo in my head. It's actually more like this. I have no idea. Actually, it's more like this. So Meg was the owner, and I was standing at this little circle of people at Nancy McCrae's house talking to Meg, and she looked at me and she said, "Do you want to work at Woven Art?" I was like, "No," which is literally what I say every time somebody offers me a job. And now I work at Woven Art because duh. I actually went home, looked at myself in the mirror, and then texted Meg and said, "Of course I want to work at Woven Art. Let's talk." So now I work at Woven Art. So I teach, I edit, I work at the shop, so retail, and I design but I don't really publish. I would like to sell patterns to people, and I design a lot of the things that I knit. And all of my classes that have projects are projects that I designed in order to teach the classes. And all of my sweater design classes are me teaching you how to design your own sweaters. And each time I teach it, almost every time I teach it, I make a sweater along with that I'm making up as I go. And they're always a little bit different. So technically I'm a designer. I own that. I am a designer, but I'm not really a published designer because, because it's a lot of work. I ghostwrite other patterns for people and grade out all the sizes and do the editing. That's part of what I do for a living, and it's a lot of work. And I can't afford to hire somebody else to do that for me. And I don't have the time. It's not going to pay me the money I need to pay my bills right now. So I end up promising that I'm going to publish things, and then I published one thing so far. You can go to Ravelry. I'm a hand knitter on Ravelry. You can find it, and then you can buy it. It's going to give me like $5.65. Whew, it's a mocha. I'll take a mocha. Thank you. Yeah, so that's what I do for a living. Well, that's what I do to pay the bills. And that's how I got to all those things. And part of the reason I want to tell you about this is because when I was at work yesterday at the shop at Woven Art, because at work I have 16 jobs, so who knows. And sometimes I think I should just chuck it all and go work at Costco and have health benefits. Wouldn't that be nice? And then a discount on my 90 pack of Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's tempting. It's very tempting. It occurred to me yesterday at work at Woven Art. I was talking to someone about my classes. They're like, when is Woven Art going to offer classes again? Because thanks to COVID, we don't have in-person classes. We don't have classes right now, not even out-person classes. We do have a Zoom knit along, and that's it. There's no gathering because we only let 2 people in or 2 households in at a time. That's been that ever since we opened up after the shutdown. That's the way it's been. So, but I've been teaching the whole time. So I don't know if people are aware of that. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing these Facebook Lives, is to say, oh, by the way, I'm teaching. But I also, I don't know if people know that I have a business totally separate from my job at Woven Art. Even though I've been doing my SarahPeasley.com, my Sarah Peasley Hand Knitter has been going on for 20 years, and I've only been working for Woven Art for 6 years now? I don't know. So it just kind of occurred to me that maybe it would be interesting if I told you my story. Nobody's said anything for 40 minutes, so obviously I put you all to sleep, but that's my story, and that's why I keep wanting you to sign up for classes, because they are here. I'm teaching them locally on Zoom under Sarah Peasley Hand Knitter, and I have my newsletter and I have my social media that I'm about keeping up with. And then I also teach nationally, all from this room, for Stitches. And I've got an event coming up. I still don't know if I'm allowed to say the one that I'm Thank you, Beth. She's not sleeping, she's dusting. That's fine. You can come over and listen to me here and dust also. Um, yeah, there's an event this summer that I'm teaching for. It's Michigan based, and thank you, Melinda. um, you were just enthralled. Everybody was just enthralled with what I was talking about. I was like, I got all warm, like I got all hot and bothered. I wanted you to hear my story. It's been an interesting story. So I want you to take classes from me. I want you to take knitting classes. No, they're not available at the shop right now, but they are available because I've been teaching for this whole fucking year. It's getting better now because people are better at Zoom and more events are being held. So Stitches is once a month now. They're alternating the one weekend. Yep, there goes Clara digging for something. They're alternating the one weekend a month events with the 2 weekend a month events, and that's they've just settled into that. I have to tell you, if you haven't taken a Zoom class, Fran says fun story except where I lost internet. Yeah, Fran, I don't know if you heard. I mentioned you've influenced a class. Um, I see. I did it again. I have no idea what I was just going to say. If anybody can tell me what sentence I was in the middle of, that'd be great. So teaching the classes. Oh, Stitches events. Hold on, that was it. It was coming up. I don't know. Something to do with the Stitches events. Uh, it took them a while to get that going. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. But I'm excited to still be. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I got it. Thank you. Brain cell, it kicked in. His name's Norman. Um, if you've never taken a Zoom class, it's super easy. Matter of fact, in the beginning, if people said, "Oh, I don't know, I've never, I don't know how to do that," and I would say, "Let me send you an email," and I'd send an email with a link, and they'd click the link, and then I'd say, "Hi, this is how you do it," and they're like, "Oh, that's really easy." So if you haven't Zoomed, it's super easy. I send you a link, and hi, Susan. Go to my website, sarahpeasley.com, and there's a class page, and everything that's up for grabs right now is on that class page. Thank you for asking. Um, yeah, I screwed up when I tried to post that last week. It didn't work very well. Yep, and so the Zoom setup is very similar to what you're looking at right now. Matter of fact, well, I don't teach here. And yeah, it's messy. So I showed you my stash, or not my stash. Okay, that's my messy Zoom studio. There's a ring light. There's a bunch of tripod things. There's a thing. There's another thing. There's stuff, and it's and then I stand there and I teach you for 2 hours. So 2 hour time slots because 3 hours is a lot. 3 hours is a long time to be on Zoom equals PJs. Don't you know it? 3 hours is a long time to be on Zoom without a break. We would take a break. But 2 hours seems to work really well. And, oh, Susan, don't be intimidated by Zoom. See, I can send you the email and we can just do a little private thing for like 2 minutes and you'll be fine. So you get a screen of me, my face, my beautiful face with my COVID hair. Oops, my COVID hair. And then you also get a screen, you get like the Brady Bunch. You also get a screen with my hands. So I have a camera right over my hands. So plain as day, like right here, you can watch my hands do the thing, but from above as if you were looking at them. And you can very clearly see what I'm doing. Even when I taught in person, and I resisted, I never had a projector because of reasons. Like they're expensive, they're heavy. You have to pay, the event has to pay for the electric cord to be plugged in, which I don't think is fair. So I just never had a, plus there's a learning curve for how to use them and I have other things to do. So I always resisted having a projector. But even if I'd had a projector, that's, my hands up on a screen at the front of the room and you're still looking way up there and then having to look down at your work, right? So with Zoom, I've got my hands right there and I can make that big when I remember to make it big. And and my hands are right there on your screen. Like my face is right there on your screen. My hands are right there on your screen, showing you from your perspective what to do. And I repeat and I repeat, and I can talk to you. It's not like Zoom where maybe you'll say something in the chat that I will see, and it's you get to actually talk to me, and I can see your face in another little window. It's like Brady Bunch. Did I say that out loud? Um, or I don't have to. I mean, I'd prefer to see your face, but if you're super not having a good day, you can just not show me your face. But it's nice to be with your people, and you can be on mute. My dog barks and sings and digs during class, so that's a bonus if you haven't experienced that. Yes, we absolutely. I'm doing a sweater on Zoom right now, Susan. um, yeah, I'm yeah. You can do anything on Zoom. I was surprised at one of the classes that I was in that I had on the books pre-COVID that I had people in. So when the store got shut down, I switched as soon as I could. I rescheduled it on Zoom, and by as soon as I could, I mean I had never heard of Zoom ever. Um, I know now that it existed, but I'd never heard of it. And so I had to find out about it and figure out how to use it. Edie Ekman and I actually practiced back and forth quite a lot, looking at cameras and, or, how to set up the camera and the lighting and the backgrounds. And we practiced a lot. And she actually teaches classes on how to Zoom, how to do it, how to teach a Zoom class. Um, so went off on a tangent again. Um, Yeah, so got it. Thank you, Norman. So the class that got rescheduled once I knew how to do the Zoom thing was weaving in ends. And I'm like, this is not going to work on Zoom. It's weaving in ends. Like they need to really see, and I need to make sure. And it went so well. It went so well. Um, I have not had a class yet that really didn't work on Zoom. And I've done sweater classes, I've done technique classes, Fair Isle, cables. I haven't done my mistakes class yet. That's the pop quiz. When is it? Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, so the 18th. I have done reading your knitting multiple times. Um, and I've got my sweater design classes going constantly on Zoom. So it's great. I love it. I don't want to go back 100% to teaching in person. I'll just tell you that right now. Um, and it's so much more accessible for you for the student, because and for me, because if there's ice all over the roads, I can still teach my class, and you can still go to class. And if it's in a weird if you can't afford to travel, you don't have to. You just have to get in front of your screen. And I don't care if you have pants on, and don't, yeah, that got weird all really fast. But I don't care if you have your pajamas on. How about that? Or if your dog starts barking, or if you're eating your breakfast. I don't care. Um, if if you just didn't want to roll out of bed, then take the class in bed. It's just so much more accessible for people who can't get to a place, or if circumstances mess up your flight, or your, the weather, or the whatever. It's just really good. Sorry, I'm probably going on too much, but I just want you to understand that the teaching is a real thing, and it works really well on Zoom. We're not talking about 8 hours of kids being expected to pay attention every day, but we're talking about 2 hours for an adult to pay attention. Um, Refreshing beverages are optional. I always have my cup of tea. It's a cup of tea because it's got a tea bag. Yep. Yeah, anyway, just trying to tell you it's easy to do. I'm here for you. If you've ever taken a class from me, you know that I am patient. I am gentle. I will build up your confidence and build up your self-esteem and empower you and give you permission to do things. That sounded bad. Empower you. You'll feel empowered to do things. And I'll tell you it's okay to do the things. That's what I mean by giving you permission. Like, you're allowed to cast on a stitch now. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, like, you're allowed to use whatever the hell cast on you want to use. You get to choose. Um, what else? So yeah, I'm here. I have classes. There'll be more classes. So currently Tuesday nights Um, I'm going to add Thursday nights. I announced last week, but thank you, Susan. I'm awesome. I know I'm awesome. I'm very awesome. I'm the awesomest of all the awesome. That sound convincing? I was going to add Thursday nights, but I could actually add any time on Thursday. So I asked last week and I did not hear back. I just don't know if the evenings are okay, but I'm currently teaching on Saturday afternoons. That's my where my sweater design classes live right now. Plus when I teach for Stitches, that's over the weekend. And I'm working for the shop currently on Wednesday and Thursday and Sunday, but I'm going to drop the Thursdays at the end of May. So that's going to open up. Nothing's wrong. I'm just going to drop the Thursdays at the end of May and work 2 days at the shop instead of 3. So FYI. And then that opens up a day here for me, here being in the Zoom studio, the Zoomiodio for teaching. So Thursday could be any time during the day. So I've got Saturday afternoons, which hits people with full-time jobs, and I've got Tuesday evening, which hits people with full-time jobs, but then they might be sleepy. I don't know. So we're gonna start, unless somebody tells me otherwise, we're gonna start with Thursday nights and see how that goes in June. I don't know, maybe I should just throw afternoons in there. But see, then I miss all you working people. I don't know. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I can. And I'm also editing, by the way. Remember, I have all those jobs, so gotta have time to do that too. And you know, knit. Like I had my knitting in my lap, and I knit 0 stitches this whole time. Oh, I'll take that back. I knit -1 stitch because I dropped a stitch. I fixed it. If you take my fixing mistakes class, you'll know how to do that too. Okay, I am just talking in circles right now, so I'm gonna sign off. If you have any questions, you can shoot them to me. If you would like to, oh, here's another thing. If you would like to tell your friends that there are classes to be taken, to shoot them my information, sarahpeasley.com. I'm hand knitter on Instagram. I'm Sarah Peasley Hand Knitter on Facebook. That's my business page. And I have a newsletter that you can sign up for. It's been going on for 20 years, literally, since 2000. That's 21 years, which is crazy. But yeah, I would love for you to send people my way. I would love to see you again. And thanks for listening. I love you all. Thank you for being part of my life. Thanks for listening to me blab about my life. It's been fun. It's still fun. I want it to still be fun, and I want you to be a part of it. Okay, all done now. Bye-bye.